you can't see an anchor when it's in use. Good morning, y'all. Welcome to Coffee with Connect. We get together on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. and we get into God's Word and have our coffee together. And my mug today is a mug from Cedar Point that has the Valravn on it, which is one of the coasters there, if you didn't know that. And it's my wife's favorite, not just because it's got part of her name in it, but probably also that. But she also just really loves it. So we're going to be looking in the book of Hebrews today. And we're going to pray, read, think, write, and do as we're going to continue doing that. And as it's something that I hope you do every day. As a church, we're in the middle of 21 days of reading, prayer, and fasting. And so this just makes sense for us to keep doing this and to be in God's Word here as we're reading and hopefully praying. As part of our process is to pray, read, think, write, and do. So if you haven't prayed, definitely do that. And then we're going to read here in Hebrews chapter 6, verses 19 through 20. I'm in the NIV. Here's what it says. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. It enters the inner sanctuary behind the curtain where a forerunner, Jesus, has entered on our behalf. He's become a high priest forever in the order of Melchizedek. Now, you may be reading that, especially that last part, and being like, wow, that got weird real quick. But let me explain to you a little bit of it as we're thinking about what we read. The first part of that, I think we all understand, where it says we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. You know what's interesting about an anchor, as you think about it, is that you can't see an anchor when it's in use. You don't see it. And when the sea is calm, you don't really care if you have an anchor or not, because the sea is calm. But the rougher weather, when the storms get tough and the storms are rough and everything's all over the place, that's when you're really happy that you've got an anchor. And that's when it's really important for you to have an anchor. It's more important for you to have an anchor when the sea is rough than when it's not, because it keeps the ship from being wrecked. It keeps it in place. It holds it there. It keeps it stable. And we need that anchor as well. We need an anchor to hold the ship in place and to maintain the progress that has already been made. Think about that when it comes to the analogy of your life. And then he talks about Jesus entering into the sanctuary behind the curtain in the order of who, right? If you haven't really read much of the Old Testament and you see some of these names, it can be a little confusing and all of that, but I'll just simplify it this way to say this is a Jewish analogy that is representative of the priests of the Old Testament entering in to the Holy of Holies and entering into the sanctuary. And when they did, it wasn't as a forerunner, it was as a representative. And that's a big difference there. See, Jesus is a great high priest. He enters into the presence of God the Father, so that his people, you and I, can follow him there. That's what forerunner, that's what that's implying. And so I hope you see the big deal in that and the hope that comes with that. That's the anchor that we're given because of that. So what's God saying to you through this? What could you write down? What do you need to write down that will help you as you're moving forward and hopefully resting in the anchor that Jesus is in your life, right? And then what do we do with this? Because there's always an action step there. So if Jesus is the forerunner, then we are the after runners. Yeah, we're running after him. So we should follow with everything that we have after the forerunner, who is Jesus, into the presence of God. Because he's gone before us, and so we're to follow him because he's gone before us. And you can't see the anchor when it's the most useful for you. And so where is your hope? Where is your hope? Do you believe it only because you can see it? That's not really believing at all. Spurgeon said that. We follow our anchor, Jesus, who we can't see, and we rest in the hope that we have because he keeps us in place. He keeps us in place when the waves are calm and when the seas are rough. So thanks for joining me, and I hope that you'll like the video and subscribe to the channel. Share this with someone that needs it. And join me again here next time so we can have our coffee and connect to Christ, community, purpose, and God's word together.